Hey guys, this is Odd One Gaming. This is going to be another King Arthur Legends Rise video. In today's video, we're gonna talk about one of the power-up dungeons and specifically about the Frozen Plain. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video today is because I have achieved an important milestone, and that is clearing stage 7 and actually having this one on farm. It's not like 100%, it's something like, I don't know, 90%, it depends on a little bit of RNG, but still, I found a team that's pretty much on farm that uses only one free legendary in Tristan and then 3 rares, right? So that's what, I'm really happy about this team. And the reason why stage 7 is so important is because if you look at the expected rewards, this is where we start getting mythic star seed, and these ones are used to advancing your relics to 6-star. So obviously when you get to the point where you want to start advancing more of your relics to 6-star, you're gonna need these. And if you only do stage 6, it's not gonna work. So the team that I'm actually using is the team that consists of a colon, I think that's how you say this name, it's a weird name, then Sarah, Tristan, and Kay. Now I'm just gonna do the run, and then I'm gonna show you afterwards the builds of everybody, kind of like usual, like how many stars they have, awakenings, levels, relics, skill ups, and all of that. Now the way that I do this fight is I just pretty much straight up go on for the boss. I just focus the boss because that's what it works for me. However, if you see that you're struggling, you can try and take the left foot down first, but honestly that might be tricky. The reason why it's usually a bit tricky in dungeons in general to focus the side things and then the boss himself is because if the counter goes down and the boss starts getting to this wrathful ire, goes into that rage mode, it gets a ton more stats specifically for damage. And once that happens, if you're not able to survive, if you don't have a strong enough support, it's gonna be problematic. So that's why you're gonna see, like, I don't know, 90% of dungeons that I show and maybe other content creators show as well, you're gonna see that most of the time they have, when they do the multi-battles, focusing straight up the boss so that you can do the fight faster. Now, what does this team do? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Tristan and Kay are over here for damage, so depends on who you have. Obviously, if you have stronger damage dealers than Kay and Tristan, you should bring those ones in there, but keep in mind, for this fight, you specifically want to bring all the heroes, if you can, that have the storm relic, right? Because you want to be strong affinity against the boss, so he only deals 80% of his total damage to you. That way you're gonna survive a little bit better. Now if you cannot get all storm relics, then I guess you could go with frost. Just don't bring fire, right? If you bring fire, the boss is gonna hit so hard that you're just gonna die. You're not gonna be able to sustain the hit. So in my case, obviously I had K6 star, that's why I'm using her. And then when it comes to Tristan, I'm a pretty big advocate of Tristan. I know lots of people say Tristan is not good, he's not good enough, there's better damage dealers. Honestly, yeah, that might be the case. However, I believe for what he brings in his kit, I believe that he's amazing. You might have seen me use him almost everywhere, right? I think the only spots where I don't use him is if the element of the boss of the fight or is fire, because I obviously only have his storm 1 against fire, he would be weak affinity and that might be tricky. But the reason why I like him so much is because, again, not only does he bring a ton of damage, but he also brings that attack speed down, right? You can place it twice, it's 15%. If you have both of them, that's 30% attack speed down, which means the boss is gonna go less, right? And if the boss goes less, you can go more, you can do more damage, you can heal up more, and that's just gonna be perfect. So, that's why I keep talking about Tristan all the time. He's just amazing. Then when it comes to my healer in Sarah, I have Sarah because I pulled her. She's the one that I think, her base one starts with the storm relic, and that's really good because on her 3rd skill, as you can see, she puts defense up, she does a pretty good heal, and she's just the perfect healer over here. Obviously, if you don't have Sarah, but you have any other, whoever is your best healer in this team, that's who you're gonna bring. And just, again, make sure you either have the Storm Relic or, if not, worst case, a Frost Relic for them. And then the last spot, which honestly I believe to be kind of like the MVP of this fight, is going to be a Colon. And the reason why Colon is so good is because, as far as I've seen, right, from the rares and the epics, it's a Colon is the only one that can keep that recovery disruption, obviously RNG allowing, can keep it up on all the time. And that's something you really want to land, because when the boss goes into that hibernate state, as you saw was happening just now, when he was, he laid down, he was tired, he went for a nap. When he goes in that state, if you don't have recovery disruption, when he wakes up, he pretty much fully heals. And, that just makes the fight go longer, and it lowers your chances of actually winning by by a ton. Now, let's go and have a look at the builds. So let's start off with Sarah. So Sarah's level 60, she's 4-star awakened, and I do have 1 skill up in her passive, which honestly, the buff disruption doesn't really help. Like, I've not seen it help in this fight. I haven't seen it even land, so it doesn't really matter. You don't really need those skill ups on the passives. Chivalry, she has no chivalry. However, I would really love to have her first chivalry, and obviously I think tomorrow I'm gonna do some summons because I have a ton of summons saved up, so keep an eye out on the channel for tomorrow because it's gonna be a fun one. But you really want, if you can get, if you're using her specifically, chivalry 1, because then she reduces the cooldown of this passive by 2 turns. And what does that do? Well, if we look, it's this passive over here, removes 1 debuff from up to 2 random allies every time she uses it. So if this cooldown goes down to a 1 turn, pretty much every time she gets a turn and then she does a skill, she's always going to remove those debuffs. And in this fight we have effect resistance, effect accuracy decrease, so you definitely want to take those off, especially if a Colin does it, because sometimes he just takes all the debuffs on himself, and you definitely want to cleanse as much as you can. Now, when we're talking about the equipment, she's running a Vigor plus a defense set. I would prefer this to be a life one, but I don't have that many gear options at the moment, you know, built up where I can get the perfect stats yet. So I'm just showing you with what I have. You even see that I have 1, 2, 3 pieces that are 3-star gear. So obviously this can be improved. This can be a 4 or 5-star. These are her total stats. Pretty much for Sarah, you want to give her some attack speed and then as much survivability, but specifically as much HP as possible. This one goes for any healer that you use because their healing scales off of her max HP, in my case Sarah, right? So that's what you want to do. Then if you look at the relics, I have Storm Relic, 4-star, level 30, no skill ups over here, no awakening, so you know, there's lots to be improved on this one. Now the next one that I use in the team is Tristan, the guy that I sing prayers about all the time. No skill ups in his relic. He does have a 5-star level 45 Storm Relic, basically the base one that we start with. If we look at equipment, he's running attack speed and critical rate because, you know what, most of his damage, or like, you know, part of his damage scales off of his attack speed as well. And you obviously want it to go faster, to keep doing damage, to keep landing that attack speed decrease, and that's gonna be just perfect. Then his total stats, you can see good HP, good defense, good attack. I think this is good attack, right? For like 3 weeks in, this is good attack. Then he does have 50% crit rate, and again you see the attack speed. I also gave him some effect accuracy, right? Because he lands that attack speed decrease on the 3rd skill and on the 1st one. You want to have some effect accuracy so that you can land those debuffs because they're really good. And then when we look at his level 60 and then 3-star awakened, nothing in his passive. I do have him Chivalry 1 because, well, my first legendary that I pulled was a copy of him. So I did give him Chivalry 1, but honestly, this one's not mandatory for the fight, right? It does help a little bit, but it's not like if you don't have this one, you're not going to win. You can use, you know, you can use him just as base or whoever else you want if you have a better storm damage dealer. Then the next one is K. Everybody gets K right at the beginning. Level 60, 3-star awakened. No skill ups in her passive. Equipment, she's running, again, speed set and critical rate. I'm not sure if speed is the best one. It's just, at this moment in time, this is what I had. I had good damage stats, so I just went with speed and crit rate. She's all about damage. She doesn't bring debuffs or anything else in this fight. You can see her total stats. A lot lower attack than Tristan. She does have 50% crit rate as well, and she does have good attack speed. You see 0 effect accuracy because, well, you don't need it at all with the Stone Relic. And then we're speaking of the Relic, she has a 4-star, level 30, 2-star Awakened Relic, no skill ups, because obviously I don't think I have anybody that has a skill up in the Relic because they're hard to get. I recently just pulled the Storm, the Frost one, like just earlier, so let me just summon that. This might be helpful for other fights where I want to bring her as a damage dealer, but obviously over here, use Storm because the boss is Frost. And then the last one, the one that I kind of called, you know, the MVP of this fight is going to be a Colon. And the good thing is, well, this hero starts off with the Storm Relic, which is perfect for the Frozen Plain. I have it at 4-star, level 30, no skill ups over here. Then if we look at what a Colon brings, is pretty much first is this one over here. So this one's a 5-turn cooldown. If immediately before attacking, transfers all other ally debuffs to himself, and then gains paralysis powder that transfers all debuffs onto the target. So he pretty much gets all the debuffs on himself, then he gives it to the enemy, which makes it pretty good. But Obviously, it can be tricky because he transfers several effect accuracy decreases and he might not be able to transfer them, but at least he cleanses everybody else. That's why I was saying Sarah's really good to have that the Chivalry one, so she can cleanse more often to pretty much cleanse everything off of a colon. Now, if you also look at the relic and what it does, why I believe him to be so good, is on this one, he attacks 2 times and has a 60% chance to inflict recovery disruption for 2 turns, which pretty much prevents the boss from healing. And honestly, I don't use the A3, I don't use the first skill, I just use the second skill. You know what, at the end I'm going to show you exactly the presets because I forgot to show you that. I'm going to show you the skill orders that I use, but for a colon, just A2. That's all he does. Skill 2, skill 2, skill 2 to keep landing that skill disruption. Then if you look at the equipment that we have, passive again, you see no level ups, level 58, 2-star awakened. We have Vigor. Honestly, you could try and go with more damage, but pretty much this is what I suggest. Go with Vigor because if you have Vigor on a colon, pretty much every time he gets a turn, he's going to land at skill 2. He's going to have enough Vigor to get a skill 2 because he gets 1 Vigor by default, and then with this skill, he gains 2. So pretty much he gets a turn, even if there's 0 Vigor gathered, he's always going to have that A2 and be able to land that one on the boss. And then total stats, you can see over here, 14,000 HP, almost 15,000, pretty low defense, pretty low attack. He pretty much has my leftover gear, right? Leftover gear, I did have a crit rate ring, so I tried to do a little bit of damage, but there's a lot that I can improve on him, right? I only have like a 2-star belt, I have some 3-star stuff over here, I can awaken him to 5-star to try and give him the orb, so you know, there's lots to improve, but his only role in this fight is to land at this recovery disruption. Obviously, over time, or if you can, you're going to try and give him some damage as well, because why not, right? If you can have enough effect accuracy to land your stuff, and then you can give him some damage, go ahead. But this is pretty much the team. Let me show you quickly the skill orders that I have, because, you know, this is what I noticed worked best for me, and it allowed me to always do the right damage and do all my skills at the right time. Let me just do a repeat battle. Obviously, I've prioritized attacking the boss when I do this. And let me show you. So the skill orders are pretty specific, and it's like this. K, I don't really care about the third skill, right? She does 100% damage for all of them, but she uses 3 Vigor. And then with this one, she does 128. So she even does more damage with the second skill, plus she gives herself increased crit rate and increased crit damage for 2 turns by doing that. So you 100% prefer this. Specifically because, again, I'm targeting just the boss. I don't do enough damage with her, or like, you know, don't have another AoE hitter to kill, you know, the foot, the left one or the right one. I just focus the boss, then you don't use the third skill. Tristan, third skill and first skill. Honestly, I don't really see a point using the second one. It would do a little bit of extra attack, and then it would give him attack speed increase, but I don't like that it's a 1 turn. If this was a 2 turn, I would let him do the second skill as well, but because it doesn't, I prefer to do the third one that lands attack speed decrease, and then the first one, same thing, has a chance to land the attack speed decrease. So, you know, that's perfect. Sarah, I let her do whatever. She pretty much does the healings at the right time. And then a colon, like I mentioned, I make him only do the second skill, because this one is going to keep landing recovery disruption. That's going to allow me to kill the boss, let him not heal when he hibernates, and then, you know, it's going to be GG. But yeah, this is gonna be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking it, subscribing to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.
Fight with honor. Vanquish the wicked, and you may prove worthy of your legacy.